Hi, do you want to know why fintech companies are coming to Estonia? Or how easy it is to build up the unicorn in Estonia? Or even more, what kind of companies gonna be the next unicorns in Estonia? At first, why fintechs choose Estonia? In Estonia, we have very high quality e-services, which of course are available 24/7. We have ease of establishing a business. If you want to register your own company in Estonia, you can easily do it remotely on distance. What more? In Estonia, we have e-residency program. You can run your company while same time sitting in another country. And through this, your company here can be a very good gateway to your business in entire Europe. In Estonia, we have very good availability of qualified workforce in technology, but also in finance. Estonia has a very fintech-friendly regulatory environment, and also we have very strong relationships with government. For example, I can assure, based on my own experience, that if you have a company, for example, in big-sized country, then you might be treated just as an Excel row. But Estonia is a small country, and your company is treated as a company, and not only, you can be treated also as human behind the company. And in Estonia, we have easily accessible funding. Lately, we did a research. Actually, our very good partners, the scientists from Tallinn University of Technology, prepared a study about Estonian fintech landscape. And quick facts from this. In Estonia, we have more than 200 fintech companies. Sector is rapidly growing. More than 1 billion assets and more than 2,000 people employed in the sector. Half of Estonian fintechs have been operating 3 to 5 years. This is the picture of Estonian fintech landscape. Of course, it's maybe difficult to understand each single name or logo there, but in general, it gives pretty good overview how does this sector look like in Estonia. But how does a typical Estonian fintech company look like? According to the study, we understood that the most popular category of fintech companies, this is digital assets, 24%. Next one, digital lending. 20% of Estonian fintech companies are operating in this category. Third popular category, this is digital payments. And altogether, these three categories, they make 57% of fintech market in Estonia. And both B2C, B2B, they are covered here in Estonia. %64% of the companies, fintech companies in Estonia, they are operating internationally. And which are these most popular destinations for their expansion? of course, other EU countries and UK, United States, also Australia, Ukraine, Latin American countries like Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, and various countries in Africa. Estonian fintech ecosystem, how does this look? We have very solid fintech ecosystem where in the center is government and governmental institutions. And important role is played also by FinanceEstonia, which is sector cluster organization. Also various incubators and accelerators. We have Enterprise Estonia, which is supporting the development of a sector. And of course, Estonian Financial Supervisory Authority, which has licensing and controlling role. And altogether, these institutions make Estonian fintech ecosystem. FinanceEstonia, we are 10 years old. We have almost 100 members, 6 core areas. Besides fintech, there are also other areas, but majority of our members are one or other way related to fintech. Estonia is a very small country. 1.3 million people living here. And therefore, Estonia is perfect place to build up your own startup. It's perfect place to test your business model and perfect place later on to scale out. What is interesting in Estonia? Typically, Estonian startups, including fintech companies, they are international since the beginning. As we have very limited market size, 1.3 million, usually it's not feasible to build up your business purely for this market. You need bigger market. For example, one Estonian company, Veriff, doing fraud prevention and identification of people. They have told that if they have built a solution only for Estonia, they should identify each single Estonian 3 times per day. It means for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But why this is needed? No, not needed. This is why Estonian startups are built international since the beginning. And for this, we have seen 7 unicorns in Estonia. It's really high number if you look the size of the population. These 7 unicorns are here. Among them, we can see 2 fintech companies as well. Wise, former TransferWise, and Zigo. And I can tell you, there are more in the pipeline. Soon, there will be next unicorns in Estonia, also in fintech sector. And rapidly growing Estonian fintechs can be seen here. I believe one of them gonna be next unicorn here. And if you want to contribute to this list as well, you want to establish your own unicorn in Estonia, then you are welcome here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that interesting insight and overview of the Estonian fintech landscape. It really is. We've got several questions. One of them actually you almost answered in the last slide. If you had to bet on the next fintech unicorn from Estonia, which company would you name if you had to single one out? Would you do that on camera?
I can tell you that in Estonia we have definitely more than one very good fintech company which can be unicorn, and even there on the slide I showed many of them, so I don't want to highlight only one, there are more.
That was one of the most diplomatic answers I've ever seen. Very, very good. What are the main challenges that Estonian fintechs are facing today? What direction do they come from?
Actually, we have very good understanding there because it was covered in a study made by Tallinn University of Technology. And number one challenge what the fintech companies have, this is expansion and finding new customer, providing better service. But this is normal. It should be normal part of every company. So it's very good. It should be number one. But more important, what is number two challenge? And what was mentioned, it's a regulatory part. And not only in Estonia, but rather regulations in other countries as well. Because if you're here, but you want to provide your services cross-border to other countries, then you have to take into account the regulations here and there. And this is the issue.
And also the second point is not necessarily targeted at Estonian regulations, but also European regulations, EU-wide, and so on. So
exactly. And in European Union, theoretically, we should have single market.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. Also in financial sector. But what we see today, that there is no single market functioning properly.
There's one more interesting question that I think we have time for, luckily. What can and should Estonia learn from other countries? As an example, Lithuania has built up a strong fintech country brand. What can we learn from them, for example?
I think Lithuania is a very good sample. They have done very good work in recent years. Well done, Lithuanians. What Estonia can do, I think it's good if we have kind of, let's say, competitors quite close to us. So it should motivate also us to do even more efforts and to talk about ourselves internationally, to motivate companies to build up their business, including unicorns here in Estonia.
And talk about it we do today. And obviously one thing that Lithuania and Estonia have in common is the comparably small home market. So we are all forced to go abroad. We might as well work together, really. Thank you so much, Kaido, for your insights.